American politics is not driven by results or even clear public policy goals. Why is that? If public health were the goal of our healthcare system, our society would not allow tens of thousands to die every year because they lacked medical care. We wouldn't allow millions to go without health coverage, or 700,000 a year to go bankrupt either. It's clear that our healthcare system exists not for the public, but for the private benefit of healthcare companies. The healthcare industry invests heavily in supporting a political class that will put their privilege and profits ahead of the public interest. This goal, putting business interests ahead of the public interest, would not be popular if it was avowed as the primary motivation. Therefore, it is necessary to hide this fact. This happens all the time in American politics. The true goal of a given policy or law is unpopular, so it is obscured behind talk of free markets or job creators. What it boils down to, and this applies to both major parties, is a government that puts business interests before the public interest. We live in a business-run society, and the organization of our money-driven political system makes the political class more sensitive to business needs than to human needs. Since both major parties are basically captured by business interests, it is necessary to create a countervailing force that puts human interests first. A government's first interest should always be the public interest. Who is the government for? The framers didn't set up a nation built on stock prices or quarterly dividends. Governments are made for people. Therefore, they should serve people first. The goal of the U.S. healthcare system should be public health. The goal should be, as it is in saner nations, the best possible outcomes for the lowest possible price. We already pay for the most expensive healthcare system on the planet. It is our money being directed to private insurance companies who decide whether or not to cover our needs based on an equation that puts profitability ahead of outcome. If every other advanced nation on Earth gets better outcomes at less cost by handing their money to government-run healthcare systems, why not us? We too can have better health outcomes that cost way less. This is the most important part to remember about universal healthcare in the United States. Your costs would go down. If the goal of healthcare is no longer soaking the American public, we could expect healthcare costs to drop significantly. It is important to realize that when establishment Democrats and Republicans work to preserve the existing healthcare system, they are only doing this to protect themselves. The status quo, a for-profit healthcare system, is beneficial to the current money-driven political gamesmanship. Both parties benefit from the massive amount of cash that healthcare companies are willing to spend to protect their way of doing business. There are no good ideological, philosophical, or practical reasons to keep the system that we have now. When members of either party work to preserve the status quo, they are primarily doing it to protect their own jobs. That is a very weak position to operate from. Those who want to change our broken healthcare system hold the moral high ground. A motivated public is the only thing that can defeat organized money. So it doesn't really matter how much cash the healthcare industry can throw at the Republicans or the Democrats. Ultimately, we hold the power. Both Switzerland and Taiwan converted their for-profit healthcare systems to universal systems in 1994. Recent history. If they can do it, so can we. We can change whatever we want, no matter how politically impossible it may seem at the outset. Just like the famous quote by Nelson Mandela, "It always seems impossible until it's done." This is part 6 of a 6-part series on how capitalism is destroying healthcare in the United States. Please check out the healthcare playlist on my profile page. Please also like, follow, favorite, repost, and sign up for my Substack so you can have my posts sent directly to your inbox. Let's make them pay.